welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
Anybody new to the channel? I'm Papergoy. 40,000 plus items. At least last time I looked, unless somebody bought a lot of stuff, which would be really... I'd like to sit here one day and say I got 12,000 items on.
Well, if I say that, I'm either going to be bankrupt or a multimillionaire.
I'll be sitting on a beach in Tahiti. Work from home and have a day job and not sitting on a beach in Tahiti. And you are?
I'm Mr. Magazine, and I'm in Rochester. Big warehouse.
Almost as good as Tahiti.
Yeah. 13, I think around 13 employees at this point. We're down a little bit, but we still have that 600,000 items on eBay and Amazon and the website.
Nice. Yeah. Do you know what all that is behind us?
Papergoy paper.
It looks like a lot of gibberish to me.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about today is jargon and using it, whether you should or you shouldn't. And have you ever looked at any of the rare book sites?
Occasionally, off and on here and there, if I need to reference something that I can't find on the regular platforms.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, and you're probably not going to know a lot of these answers,
okay.
Which is fine, because I don't think a lot of people know them. Do you know what the gutter of a book is?
I'm going to guess the middle of it or something.
Yeah, the center over by the binding.
Yeah,
yep, over there. Yeah. Do you know what the BFE is?
Well, only in adult terminology.
I don't even want to know that.
Some of the movies and magazines I sell.
I don't even want to know that. Back free end paper. So it's the, and FFE is the front free end paper. So it's the first page and last page of the book that usually doesn't have anything written on it.
Okay.
Do you know what the print line is?
Would that be like in the inside where they got the copyright date and all
Yeah,
that stuff?
yep,
Okay.
yep. It tells what printing it is.
Right.
But even there, sometimes you'll have a 1, but it's not really, at least I believe it's Rand McNally. One of the publishers, even if it has a 1 on the print line, it's not a first edition because you need to have, and some of the issues, you need to have something else there as well. Do you know what a point is as far as books go?
I don't believe so. No.
A point is if you're working on a first edition, there's certain points that show that it's a first state, which means the first pressing of it. And like, for example, one of the John Steinbeck books has a giant period on, I don't know, page 222 or something other like that.
Okay.
Do you know what a folio is?
Not pertaining
Really
to
large, oversized book.
Okay.
And so on, and so on.
Well, I know some of their terminology is similar to like trade paperbacks, like, the first for like the Dark Knight, trade paperback, stuff like that I would know, but I don't know the terminology for it.
Yep. If you look on a rare book dealer site, it's hieroglyphics. It really is. Do you know what CA means if they're talking about a book? If they say CA 1800s.
I would guess Canada.
Circa.
So okay.
I don't know why they dropped the CIR, but it means circa.
Yeah.
So
They
CA
saved
1820s,
Yeah.
so about 1820s.
Gotcha.
And so on. You can give me the same exact quiz, and I may do okay on it, but you could give me the same exact quiz about action figures.
Yeah.
Give me a couple of them real quick, and this will teach a few people out there.
Well, like the grading, like AFA, the grades or something.
I know that's a grading company. I have no idea what that stands for. Like MOC and NOS.
There's MIB, mint in box, but then there's MISB, mint in sealed box.
Oh, see, that I did not know.
Yeah. But like some people just use one or the other when you could really go in more in depth and use both. But there's no right or wrong one. There's pretty much the same. I mean, you could say mint in box and it's still sealed, or mint in sealed box be a little more specific. Yeah.
So the point I wanted to make today, believe it or not, there is a point, is if you go on biblio.com and you're looking at a $40,000 book, absolutely nothing wrong, in my opinion, with him saying what's in the gutter, what's here, what's there, what's there.
Yeah.
Who is shopping for that $40,000 book? Probably.
People that have a lot more money than us.
Well, yeah.
I would guess. Yeah.
Probably a collector.
Yeah.
And a collector is probably going to know what all of that means.
Right.
But here I am on eBay, and I'm listing a $12 book, and it may be the best description that you've ever seen as far as the rare book dealer is concerned.
Yeah.
You want to buy a book for your grandmother.
Exactly.
What does all of that terminology do?
Well, it might turn you off, and like you don't know what it is, and sometimes less is more, especially with the cheaper books like on eBay or Amazon. And I tell my employees the same thing, like it's 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks. Don't go crazy describing it. You can even say VG. You're covering a lot of ground. They know it's VG. They don't need to know there's a bend here, a tear there. If it's something major, then you can describe that. But for the most part, I just tell them to keep it simple.
Yeah, so I guess my question to you would be, if you come across 2 action figures, both are ungraded, and you're going to list them, and the first one is a vinyl cape Jawa on card, and the second one is I don't even know what the Star Wars figure is that's out right now, but some $8 C-3PO figure from a year ago that's pretty common.
Right.
Which one should you write a book about the description with all of the terminology, and which one should you say common card wear, bend at what do you call it, hang tab?
Right. Yeah, obviously the $10,000 Jawa, you want to put a lot of time into, and I would tell my employees, well, first of all, if I had that for sale, that would mean I have 2 because I have to keep one in my collection. So I'm still looking to buy one of them. But the point is, spend a lot of time. If it takes 10, 20 minutes and you got a good description on $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 item, it makes sense. The $5, $10 figure should take a minute or 2. Real brief. It's mint. And again, on eBay, they're seeing what they're getting. It's not the stock photo like Amazon. So you don't have to, even if you undergrade or overgrade a little bit, they're going to see what they're getting anyway. So just keep it broad, like VG, little wear.
Well, I'm going to give a perfect example. Sometimes I see on the book sites, and if I'm buying a rare book, I would like to know this, closed tear on jacket, which is great. A closed tear means it doesn't go all the way to the edge. So it's a tear somewhere in the jacket inside, but it doesn't go all the way to the edge of the jacket.
Sure.
That's great. That's wonderful. But if you have the same book and you're listing, you say tear on jacket, somebody that wants to buy a $25 book knows there's a tear on the jacket.
Right.
I'm pretty sure most people don't say, well, is it a closed tear? Especially with pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's absolutely wonderful on the high value things. But I think one of the most important things is know your audience. You can turn a lot of people off, as you said, by getting overly descriptive and scaring people away.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people aren't willing to ask questions either. And you may have the perfect, accurate description. You're talking about foxing on the book. You're talking about this in the gutter. You're talking about this. You're talking about that. And it's a wonderful, 100% accurate description. And on a $12 book, somebody looks at that and they say, I'm not buying this. I'll buy it from this other guy that says, somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
And the other guy ends up making the sale. You wasted a lot of time describing this, 14th print of the Da Vinci Code.
Right.
And you end up not making the sale.
You may never sell it anyways, even if you...
But you spent all that time and you scared the buyer away because he looks at it and says, oh my gosh, there's 57 things wrong with this book. This other one just has somewhere. I'm going to buy the one with somewhere, even though they might be identical books.
And especially Da Vinci Code, if you're searching on Amazon, there might be 1,200 of them for sale. So he'll just move on to the next one at a similar price.
Which are what the large booksellers end up doing. May have underlining highlights, may not have dust jacket, may have, just because they've got one stock listing that they sit there and they put all the books up.
Sure.
So absolutely nothing wrong with being 100% accurate and using all of the jargon on the proper item.
Yeah.
Don't waste the time on the low-priced item and know who your customer is. If it's something very, very common, there's no need to write a book about the condition of it. Absolutely no need. You're going to scare buyers away. You're going to waste your time. Something rare, write everything up there.
Yeah.
Know why the person is buying it as well. I know that you generally list, and it's a good thing to do. I sometimes forget. On magazines, you'll list mailing label, no mailing label.
Yeah, we kind of did away with that. Not like we used to, especially, well, in Amazon we might say it.
Yeah.
But eBay, they're seeing what they're getting for the most part.
And that was exactly what I was going to say. I try to list it in the description area if it occurs to me.
Right.
But because the picture is up there, I'm figuring if you're seeing the picture and it's got a mailing label in it, you're probably getting a mailing label on it. Now, the other way is if the picture doesn't show a mailing label and I get a second one that has one, I would definitely change the picture and note that, of course.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine too many people would be upset if I did have 2 of them and I sent them one without a mailing label. Most people probably wouldn't be too upset over that.
Yeah, sometimes if, like, for Sports Illustrated, if they're getting it autographed, they might email and say, was the mailing label removed or was it a newsstand with no mailing label? Sometimes you get that question, but you can just zoom in and you can tell the difference. Obviously, if it's removed, there's still going to be some type of residue or leftover imperfections from the peeling of the label. But for the most part, they know what they're getting and they're fine with that.
So hopefully that helps you some. Every collectible that you sell has its own jargon in it. It just does.
Yeah.
Know when to use it, know when not to use it. Don't unless you're practicing, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with practicing. I mean, all of those various bookseller terms that I told you, I didn't know what an octo was 20 years ago. I've taken the time to learn all of those things, and it's wonderful to have that knowledge so that when I'm reading a description, I know what it is that I'm reading.
Right.
But I don't use it very often except on the higher end books. And take that lesson to heart. Don't overlist things because you end up spending a lot of time and you can scare off potential buyers. Yeah. Do hit the like button if you could. Do note down below some of the jargon that you've seen in some of the listings because I'm sure there have been some absolute doozies out there. You know what, a slight going off topic a touch. You know what one that I don't like? Are when people sell comic books, and they sell a lot of comic books, and they say, I'm not a professional grader, see the picture. It's not that hard to say it's VG. Right. Yeah, it's not that hard to say it's fine.
Yeah. Exactly. Being there in that area, that you could be off a touch either which way. They're still going to see what they're getting and be fine. And accept that. They know what's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a Wolverine number 82. Mm-hmm. That's a $6 book anyway.
Right.
If I say it's VG and it's really fine, big deal. Just say it's VG. Just go out and say it's VG.
Right.
Or if you don't know how to grade, which is fine, say, stress marks at Staples, crease on bottom right corner.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely nothing wrong with doing that either, but don't say see the pictures.
Right.
Because it's not that hard to put a little bit of a description as the condition.
Buyers may ask me, what do you think this would grade at? And I'll say, honestly, I'm going to lowball it, and if I really think it's an 8, I'll tell you a 7, just in case. Don't have high expectations on what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So people would rather you attempt to tell them what's wrong with it without writing a book. Attempt to tell them what's wrong with it, as opposed to I'm not a professional grader. Look at the pictures.
Right. Yeah.
But you see that all the time on things. Just take a guess on it. If it's got a water stain, tell me there's a water stain, and I can make my own decision.
Sure.
And so on. Yeah. So hopefully that helps you some. Do hit the like button, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.